Welcome. My name is Susan Polton. I'm the Vice President for Digital Media at National Geographic Society. And in that capacity, one of the main things that I work on is digital experiences for our Explorer program. And the core mission of National Geographic continues to be, as a nonprofit, continues to be the funding and support of exploration globally through grants and primarily through grants, but also through just general support of scientists around the world who are doing various research in almost every discipline that is possible. It makes for an extremely interesting job. One of the things that National Geographic for about 125 years has been doing is scanning every corner of the globe and now every corner of the universe, searching for new discoveries. And it isn't just about the finds, it's about the ways and means that we actually do that. And so National Geographic has been pushing the boundaries of the actual techniques, technology that we use in that search, from anything from high altitude ballooning all the way back to now, working with and supporting NASA researchers in going to every corner of the universe. So we have a little bit of an experiment today. We're going to start with Dr. Robert Ballard and Katie Croft. Actually, we're going to, I totally forgot that we had an intro video for you. So we're going to open up with a little bit of a video about our grants program. And this gives you just a highlight of the types of explorers and research that we support. And then we're going to jump to a very fun first interaction.
Why do I wake up every morning and worry about people shooting elephants, people cutting down big trees? I don't know why. It's an obsession, but it is.
No one's been in a lot of these places, and that's kind of sucking you in. Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
I feel like I'm not on planet Earth right now. The world isn't supposed to look like this.
Maybe there's something going on here that we don't understand fully yet.
All these quests are like proving to myself that if I really want something, I can push my physical to places I never thought I could go.
To be honest, there aren't many scientists that do what we do.
I photographed this migration to inspire people to care about it.
Yeah, sure. It's quite possible this storm could produce a tornado.
We're almost trying to do the impossible out here.
Are we ready? Stop! Snake, go!
I think it's kind of creepy out here. Like it's dark. I don't know what that noise is.
It looks like it's obviously a burial chamber. We have definite human remains.
That none of us are afraid of the dark. Yeah.
Every man for himself.
On this rock face are the mummies of Cocaine, and that's why we've come. I can't see them, but I can feel them.
If you see all this, I think everybody can understand why we do this.
3 years ago, if you'd asked me where I'd be today, I'd tell you I'd be stuck in an office doing something I didn't love.
I woke up, I could feel a polar bear was my hand.
Nobody would need a coffee if you got woken up by a bear.
Yeah, that's the golden combination, really. Mixing exploration and science, the ability to reach millions of people. That's what you need to do. Get your camera, let's go.
So that's just some highlights of some of our explorers and researchers in the field. One of the things you saw in there was a combination of really traditional field techniques. It really is just about getting out and slogging through the jungle and encountering everything along the way, as well as advanced technology and using that and employing that in the field. And so what you're going to hear about today is a series of our explorers from, we have our first up, from the EV Nautilus in the middle of Cyprus, in the Mediterranean, and doing seamount research. Dr. Robert Ballard and Dr. Katie Croft Bell. And we're going to do a little bit of a telepresence experience. This is how they're using technology in the field. And they can sort of hear me through the phone right here, which is why they're getting set up. Then we're going to introduce you to Kevin Hand from JPL, who's doing work on a mission to Europa, but also his work takes him here on planet Earth to actually study the astrobiology field. And then to Albert Lynn. And Albert does non-invasive archaeological techniques, so employing technology in the field. And so all of them get their hands dirty, have to be actually out getting it done, but they all employ technology in unique ways. So we're going to start. Let's see if we can get this. If I get a little feedback, I'll let you know. There's an 8-second delay, so you'll hear me a little bit in the video, as well as talking to you guys. So I apologize. It's a satellite connection. Am I there? And we're up. Welcome, guys, from the Turing Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland. Wait for it. Can you hear me? It was working before.
Hi there. Can you hear us? This is Katie Croft Bell and myself aboard the exploration vessel Nautilus. We're presently in the middle of the Eastern Mediterranean. Yes, I can. Can you hear us? And can you hear us, Susan? I can hear you.
Yes, we read you loud and clear.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, we can hear you.
There's 8 seconds.
8 seconds is a really long time.
All right, we're hearing you.
Do we
We
have to
can
go
hear
through
you. Can you hear us?
We're talking on Sat 4 and we can hear you loud and clear.
Yep, we're on Sat 4 and you should be hearing us. Yeah, they're that late.
So if you guys could give an overview of the how you're using telepresence with the EV Nautilus to conduct the research that you're doing.
Given the long time delay, we're
We'll
just
get started.
we're gonna vamp. But to tell you what we're up to, we're aboard the research or the exploration. I know. I'm sorry about that.
We're exploring here.
The exploration vessel, the EV Nautilus. We're in the Eastern Mediterranean. This is our last year of explorations with this ship. We've been in the Mediterranean 25 years. We've been in the Black Sea 13 years. We have all sorts of agendas.
Oh, that was a lot longer than 8 seconds.
All right, and we'll talk about that. And give it a, we just heard that request. Here, the concept behind the ship is that it's not a research ship, it's an exploration ship. And as a result, we don't know what we're going to find. And we can tell you about what happened last night, which was pretty cool.
The whole past week?
The whole past week, we have been exploring an amazing mountain called Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes. Which is biologically fascinating, geologically fascinating, archaeologically fascinating. We've made all sorts of discoveries, and we don't have the people on the ship that have all the skill set.
We can't have the people.
We can't bring the whole university out here or several universities out here. So what we're doing is we're running the Nautilus like the emergency room of a hospital where they don't have any idea what the ambulance is going to deliver 2 o'clock in the morning. They open the back door and it's, well, what is it? A mother having a baby or someone that's been in an auto accident or a heart attack. So we have what we call doctors on call. And they have command centers. We call them what? We call them
Exploration Command
Centers. We call them Exploration Command Centers. And they get a phone call. We did it last night. We were waking up people last night.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock this morning, we came across the biggest ancient shipwreck.
No, 8 o'clock this morning. It was 1 a.m. East Coast time.
Yeah.
We called up archaeologists in the U.S. They drove down to the Inner Space Center that's in Rhode Island and tuned right in. They could see the video feeds.
Right. And
like
then we spent all the last 10 hours mapping this guy. But before that,
the first totally unexpected discovery was a pile of what looked like fossilized whale bones.
Looks like a skeleton in the, we're down 3,000 feet in total darkness, and hanging on the edge of a cliff.
Right off the edge.
Right on the edge of a cliff was a
sticks.
skeleton, you know, and we didn't know what we were doing, so we got on the phone.
None of us are whale experts.
So we started calling people, and we got an expert, Gene Shin, who told us what we had found, that he thought it was a fossilized ancient whale or possibly an elephant.
Some other large mammal.
It was definitely the skeleton of a large, it was just a rib cage. And this place used to be land
About 5 million years
ago. And so we went to pick up the fossils, and they were absolutely had turned to stone, and then so we had to break them.
Use a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, and so had we not had these experts guiding us, we would have never known what to do. And so this has been happening with high incidence over the last week or so.
And
but
even
that's what
2
it's
years
all
ago when we were here on Arachnocentris, the
Exactly.
first time, nobody had ever actually looked at the seafloor. All of the scientific literature which we had pored over suggested one thing, and it was completely wrong.
So that's what we're doing. We're using the technology to be able to reach off the ship and engage experts in real time. We're not coming back. It's very expensive when you make a discovery. We're going to be taking the Nautilus around the world starting next year. We're going to be in the southern hemisphere where there's, you know, we're thousands of miles out to sea, and we make a discovery, we're not going to get back. So we use it, but we also use it for outreach.
That's right. The education is a huge component of our program. We have students and teachers coming out on the ship with us for a very immersive. We also have a website and also exploration commands so that students can be a part of the exploration while we're doing it.
In fact, we're in a studio. Nautilus, we do what, 6 shows a day?
6 shows a day.
Running simultaneously with our command center. The people in the command center are not totally aware of all of that because we don't want to interrupt their work, but we can come in from the studio. We're in the studio now. We're going to head back to the command center after we do this. But the point is that we're able to reach out to millions of people around the world. Our website, nautiluslive.org, I think 133 countries.
More than that, 142.
Yeah, 142 countries have been tuned in.
So far, just in the last month and a half.
And so while we're on watch, we have a laptop with all questions. Last year we did how many questions?
Tens of thousands.
We did I think it was 18,000 questions that we answered. I mean, that's a lot of questions and that's a lot of answers, but we're working 24/7.
We also have a very international team, so we encourage all of our scientists and engineers to speak in their native languages so that we can reach, you know, not just the U.S., but many other countries.
While American kids are asleep, we're talking to Turkish
people are
kids.
in Australia, Turkey, Cyprus. We have a lot of separated viewers right now.
We probably have 6 or 7 countries aboard the ship right
7 right now.
We were talking just the other day to the International Space Station. We have an astronaut.
I'm going to have to talk while they're talking, so apologies.
A good friend, a colleague astronaut, is up on the space station, and she just called us the other night.
And they flew over us and waved at us. But the point is that the world's getting wired. Even the deepest depths of the world are getting wired. And we're using this telepresence technology to go to places we've never been before, but to bring the whole world with us, to help us, and to motivate them to become scientists and engineers of the future. So we have our core of exploration, we call it, aboard the team. We're not selling science, we're selling scientists. And it's been a very exciting use of this amazing technology. So we're going to stop for 8 seconds and let you come back with a question.
If you could just wrap with one quick question about what are some of the challenges you have from being an always-on environment?
Well, we have waves of people. Fortunately, we operate 24/7. We're used to operating 24/7. Oceanographers have always operated 24/7.
Ship time is very expensive and very valuable, so we don't want to waste a second
So
of it.
we
So
have
we constantly rotate teams of
rotating
people.
teams. We have 3 teams constantly rotating around the clock. So we're used to this. We're trying to get the world to get used to, oh, look at that, to get used to that. And the problem is not convincing the next generation. It's convincing the old fuddy-duddies that are living in the old generation. We have kids aboard here that get it and get it fast. So I'm not really worried about implementing this technology. I'm just worried about getting past the old paradigms that are resistant to change.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us all the way from Cyprus. Best presentation ever.
Anyways, better than Skype.
That's way longer than 8 seconds.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us all the way from Cyprus.
Take care.
Thanks, Susan. Enjoy your conference.
All right. So, okay, well, not instant. I do want to actually talk a little bit more because of that delay, we really didn't get a chance to sort of capture what they're doing. But so Dr. Ballard, obviously from fame of finding the Titanic and hydrothermal vents and other major discoveries along the way, has sort of had this vision his whole life of this Doctors on Call program that he was really describing. He has such a vision. I actually have a sketch he did of it in the 70s drawn up and framed on my wall. It's been in his head for a long time to have scientists on shore connecting with a ship via satellites, connecting to vehicles that are remotely tethered to a ship. And he's been building that step by step over the last 10, 15 years until Nautilus launched about 4 years ago, which is the culmination of a dream. And he's growing it. He adds technology to the ship. They have these remotely operated vehicles, but they're also going to add multi-beam. And as he mentioned, they're moving into the Pacific to actually start doing multi-beam scanning and mapping. And so it's pretty amazing when you really think about what he's accomplished. They have an always-on ship that can react at a moment's notice. They do not have to have scheduled ship time. The story that he loves to tell is about the hydrothermal vent discovery, which he actually considers one of his most major accomplishments to be part of, was that they did that. Well, Titanic was also part of that, but they thought they had detected the black smokers in the 70s, and they were on somebody else's ship time. So they had to wait almost 2 weeks while this guy finished his research to go back and actually document what they thought they had found. And so he never wanted to have to go through that again. He wanted to own his own ship, be in control of the ship time, be in control of the science that they were finding. And I've been on this vessel. I support it from the Nautilus Live website side of things. And I've been on the vessel, and we were in the Santorini caldera, and there was potential volcanic activity that could have been very dangerous. And so just on a moment's notice, they decided to stay in the caldera for 5 extra days and do surveys for the Greek government. So they can sort of make those decisions because they're in charge. And they're able to connect back and make, add research, connect up with a scientist, like these whale bones that they discovered. They can sort of stay on station and examine anything that they happen to find in the moment. So it's really spectacular what they've been able to accomplish. And the outreach piece of it is really key. You can tune in, like last night they were all pinging me because they found this shipwreck, the largest shipwreck that they have found in the Mediterranean. They came up on it. They had a sonar target, and they just decided, put the vehicles in the water, go take a look, and they had a major discovery. So they can sort of shift gears. And it touches all of the disciplines, biology, geology, and archaeology, which is really, really fantastic. So Apologies that that was a little awkward. I was hoping to be able to take a couple of questions for Dr. Ballard, but actually if you go, he's on the ship for another 2 weeks. If you go to nautiluslive.org, you can submit a question, and he will actually sit there all night. As you can tell, he has a lot of energy. I love how he talks about old fuddy-duddies. He just turned 70. He has a lot of energy, and he'll stay up all night reading any question that you submit into the queue from nautiluslive.org. So he'll actually, he and Katie has supported him. She's actually the vice president of operations for all of his research vessels. So a pretty exciting pair.